you know, whatever it is in this present moment, what is it though? What's your experience with it right now in the present moment? Because the present is where we're at. We're in the present. We're alive in the present. You can't say what tomorrow will be. You can't change yesterday. Right now in the present, what is the situation? Is it good? Then it's good. Hey there. Today I wanted to talk to you about dominating fear. And not surprisingly, but fear is one of the most commonly experienced emotions that everyone has. And I think there are situations in which fear occurs. And I had an acronym, but it's CRSU. So there's career, there's relationships, there's social situations, and then U is the unknown. And so these are the typical areas in which we can experience fear. And I just thought it was interesting that fear can be so debilitating, but it's also something that we have the ability and the power to conquer. Like, it's within our control to dominate fear, which is why I wanted to make this video. So anyways, as you know, on this channel, we make videos about everyday situations in life and how we can best go through them to better ourselves as well as better those around us. I myself am going through life with you, and as I have certain successes through different scenarios, I want to share those, and you all have shared, different things with me. So anyways, let's get into it. So the first one is really understanding what is the root of the fear. And I think a question that you can ask yourself with this one is, what am I afraid of? And fear shows up, different ways. For some people, they might say like, oh, my palms got sweaty, or my heart was beating fast. Some people have actual panic attacks where they have a shortness of breath. Maybe the walls start feeling like they're closing in on them. I think I was reading the 5-second rule, I think. And some people had experiences in that book where they shared like they might get hives or something like that. So fear shows up in our bodies, and anxiety, it shows up in our bodies different ways. But the thing that's common is that emotion is called fear in all of us, which we all experience it. So, and two, also with number one, when you're trying to identify the root, you have to ask yourself, is there real fear? Because our bodies, we feel fear because of something, whether it's danger or a threat that our body or our mind perceives. And so it then sends this sensation in your body to let you know, hey, this is a possible threat, or you're in danger. But when you're in a situation where there might not be an imminent threat or something that's, visible, you have to ask yourself, is my body having this response because there's a real threat, there's real danger, or is there an assumption that I'm having? Like, am I assuming that I am in danger? Am I assuming that there's a threat? And so that's one way how we can get to the root of fear and really understand what is causing me to feel this emotion right now. Why am I feeling this emotion right now? And then so after that, you can go into number two and you can reframe it. Now, if you're in a situation, let's say maybe you're a student and the professor calls on you, and that's one of your worst fears. You're like, oh no, I don't want to be called on. So you can reframe it. You can see it as a challenge. You can gamify it almost. And that's one way for you to have control in a situation where you might feel helpless or powerless. So you might be able to say, okay, let's see what they're going to ask me. How can I answer this? If I can't, it's okay. But if I can, let me view it as a way of, I'm going to earn points with myself. Or maybe you're actually going to earn points based upon what you say in that situation. But you can try to make it a challenge. How can I win this? What does winning this look like? So I think with us being able to gamify it, that's one way that we can get a sense of control back in a situation like that. All right, number 3 is take action. So, you know how I mentioned fear can be paralyzing, and sometimes you feel those feelings come over your body, and your natural response can be to do nothing, almost just sitting in the fear. But with this step, this way of reclaiming your power or dominating the fear, it is to take action, even if it's small action, a small step. So let's say you have a fear, maybe with a job, a fear, you're overwhelmed with the thought of changing jobs or having to change jobs, and then something happens, you find out that there's layoffs. Okay, a small step, start updating your resume. Or you hear about layoffs, start updating your resume. You don't have to let something just happen to you. You can have a sense of control in the situation. So taking a small step, whatever that may be, in the grand scheme of things, one small step can help you gain a sense of control. It can allow you to feel empowered. So that's one of the things that you can do to reclaim some of your power in that situation. Number 4, control your physiology. And so with this one, like I mentioned, you may have the rapid breathing, the sweaty palms, or tightness in your throat, whatever it may be. You can, I've talked about this in a previous video, but you can implement or start doing the box breathing, where you simply are exhaling for maybe 4 seconds, inhaling for 4 seconds, exhaling for 4 seconds, inhaling for 4 seconds. You're doing that to calm yourself down. Maybe it's a situation where there's fear and it's maybe causing you to become small. You can sit up, expand your frame, sit up. Let's say the fear is making you feel worried or anxious or whatever it may be. You can actually physically smile. That in itself can do something to your psychology as well. And it can help abase some of that anxiety or some of that fear that your body may be, sending throughout itself. So those are just some things that you can do from a physiological standpoint to help you dominate fear. Number 5 is visualize it. The opposite of the fearful situation. Visualize that that outcome that you want, the way you want it to go. Close your eyes and see it. That's a way that you can dominate the fear that is present in your body. How do you want it to go? How do you want things to be? You can close your eyes, like I mentioned, and you can picture it. You can see it. And that can also, too, that can just even help with your physiology. That can help you with calming down, with being able to think a little clearer. That's what I've experienced. So that's why I say taking the time to visualize it, to feel the confidence that you need in that moment when you're called upon, to feel the whatever it may be that you need in that moment. Just being able to visualize that or feel that or see that, that's one that I think can help you in the moments when fear is starting to take over a situation. Number 6 is adjusting your self-talk. And sometimes when we are overcome with fear, we're not the most mindful of how we're talking, or inside our head, or even out loud. We're not the most aware of it, because in that moment, the self-talk or the thoughts, they may be actually fueling that fear even more. So, for example, the one, let's say, where you were called on, I wasn't paying attention, I don't know the answer, why are they calling me? I always mess things up, or whatever your go-to thing is that's causing that fear, that you might say, that allows that fear to grow and be strengthened. You can then try something different in that moment, where it's, you might say, I am able to answer this, or I can do it, or even if I don't know the answer, it's okay. People always help me. Whatever it is that you need to say to yourself in that moment, just to be able to get through that situation, and allow yourself to feel a little uplifted, a little encouraged in the midst of whatever that situation may be. But the self-talk is really important, because we don't realize that it's the things that we're saying in our head that sometimes allow the anxiety and the fear to grow just a little bit stronger. So just be mindful of what you're saying in your head, what you're saying out loud, because that can help dissolve the fear, or it can help feed or strengthen the fear in those moments. Now, number 7 is focus on the present. And I think this one's really important because, like I mentioned with that acronym, the unknown, right? So sometimes we have fear in the situations that we make up in our head. So what if? I'm fearful of this that could happen. And that's not the truth. That's not the present truth. That's not what's really happening right now. But I'm allowing fear to dominate because of something that I think could happen. So because I'm scared or I'm fearful of what could happen, I then am really fearful in the moment when that hasn't even happened yet. That's not happening right now, but I'm afraid of its ability or the possibility of it happening. So that's why this one can help us it can help ground you in the present moment. Is that really the case? The thing that you're fearful of? Let's say, for example, you heard something or somebody said something and you're like, oh, y'all, they about to do layoffs. It's like, okay, are they doing layoffs right now? No, they're not. So you ruining your whole day off of the possibility or the what if, the hypothetical of layoffs. Does that make sense? If you want to worry, then maybe that makes all the sense in the world for you. But if you're somebody that wants to get rid of fear as quickly as possible, to be able to dominate fear, to gain a sense of control over your emotions, then there's no need for you to keep feeding that hypothetical, because it's not here. I think about people that I think about women. Sometimes they're carrying children. You can carry a good bit of stress with, what if this happens during your pregnancy? What if this happens? What if that happens? Some people even in marriages. What if this happens in my marriage? What if that happens in, or anything. We can sometimes be consumed with these what if scenarios that in the present moment, that's not happening. And I'm not even able to enjoy the fact that that's not happening because I'm worried about it happening. It's like a loop. You get caught in a loop of being unable to enjoy life in the present because you're trying to think past where you're at into something that is undesirable, when maybe you're in a desirable situation right now and you can't even take a second to appreciate it because you don't want it to be tainted or ruined by a situation that is unfavorable, when that unfavorable situation is not here. It's not here right now. So why are you focused on something that's not here? Focus on the present. If it's today that you have a wonderful job, you have a wonderful job. If it's today that maybe you went to the doctor and you got a great report, you got a great report. If you are in a marriage and things are going well, things are going well. If you have children and their health is great, their health is great. If you have older parents and they're okay, they're okay. Whatever it is in this present moment, what is it though? What's your experience with it right now in the present moment? Because the present is where we're at. We're in the present. We're alive in the present. You can't say what tomorrow will be. You can't change yesterday. Right now in the present, what is the situation? Is it good? Then it's good. It's good. So I think allowing ourselves to be in the present is something that we unknowingly take for granted by focusing on what we don't want to happen. Because that's almost, you're disregarding the fact that in this moment, all is well. In this moment, everything's good. Bask in that. Just like the sun hit my face. Bask in that. You feel that. Appreciate that. Because one thing's for certain, change happens. But when things were a certain way, let me say this, when things were good, did you appreciate the good? Did you acknowledge the good? Were you thankful for the good? I think that's a way that we can also dominate fear, is building a repository of the good. That I think that's it's almost like building a resume, building a log of the goodness, the good things that happen to you. That allows you to combat sometimes when your mind or when fear tries to say, but this is what could happen. And you're like, maybe that is what could happen. But right now, that's not what's happening. And I'm okay. I'm appreciative that that's not happening. I think building up our talk like that, I think that'll help us be able to dominate and dismantle fear in our lives. And I think also too, not being afraid of fear, leaning into the fear. Like even, I think that was number 2, but when you reframe it, you see it as a challenge. In a moment when I feel fear, right? I know I can control me. I can control me. I can control my response. I can control my words, how I carry myself, how I deal with something that my body may see as a threat or whatever. I can control me. And I can really ask myself and assess, is this something really to be afraid of? Is this something to be feared? And also too, okay, maybe it is something. What can I learn? How can I learn from this? The next time this comes up, what can I tell myself? How can I comfort myself? How can I strengthen myself the next time that I experience this or I feel this? Maybe it's not just for you. Maybe you're going through something and it's a situation where I was afraid when this happened, but I was able to get through it. And if somebody else experiences something like that, then you can share with them. This is how I got through that. It was a really trying and fearful thing, but this is how I got through it. And that can help them. So, yeah, I hope I said something. I hope this talk on dominating fear was helpful to you. And I will definitely see you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed, feel free to subscribe. If you got any value, you can share the video, give it a thumbs up, all those good things. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Have a great day. Bye.